So to give a little introduction, my name is Savitha Krishnamoorthy. I work with the Great Eastern Shipping Company, and I've been here for more than 2 decades now. I have a graduation in commerce from NM, and then I went on to pursue my MBA with Welingkars, and continue to be associated with them in the capacity of an alumni. And as far as the workspace goes, I have a small team. My head HR, Mr. Salil Raghavan, and me, and two other colleagues, Priyanka and Sonia. So it's more like a close-knit family back at work as well. And because it's a small team, we pretty much work in all aspects of HR, be it recruitment, compensation, benefits, learning and development, and any of those sorts. So, so it's been an exciting journey, though it's been with the same company. Had the opportunity to work on multiple projects when it comes to HR, but learning and development being one area which I would say I'm most passionate about. Me and Salil, actually, we try and look at it in various aspects of our own lives as well as our employees. And we also try wherever we have an opportunity to partner with outsiders to experiment. And in learning and development, particularly psychometrics, because we have, got certified in multiple instruments, most of them being offered by Anahat and even otherwise. So we're very passionate about psychometric as an instrument, and we try to reach it out wherever possible. So that's a little bit about me and my career journey. Yeah. And then quickly taking it to this project that we are talking about, working with Wellinkers. So somewhere around 2014 or 15, Vijayan, who heads the HR practices for Wellinkers, he asked us, why don't we do some work around psychometric for the students? And after thinking about what should be the first introduction, what is it, which tool is it that they'll be first able to understand and work with, we thought maybe we zeroed it down to MBTI, because two aspects. One is, we said they're not really going through a certification right now. We're giving it more like an introductory. However, let them experience some action and fun also while we are doing this, because they are finally students. They need to feel energized when you do a process, and they're still, many of them, 50% of the batch is generally freshers. So they've not had a work context yet. But if we are able to take a tool where we are able to also give a life context, then probably they'll relate to it better. And that is how we zeroed down on MBTI. And that is how we started our first session with Wellinkers. And we have been working largely with the student group which has taken human resource. Because one is, okay, from a college point of view, the logistics are too much if they have to take an entire batch together. Because by the second year, they're already in specializations. So the HR batch also in particular, because we thought if we are able to take them through this start point, they'll be able to continue this once they are in their career journey. And when we introduced these sessions, we saw there's a lot of interest among students to understand psychometric itself as an instrument, and how can they use it at workplace, and how can they use it for themselves. So we pitched it at 2 points here. One is, we said that you are going to soon face interviews for campus placements. You should be able to, as HR people, talk a little better about yourself than just the rudimentary way of saying that I like this and I'm good at this and things like that. So first, deep dive to understand yourselves better, and also exchange those notes with the other colleagues who are attending the session, so that you are able to discuss and bring in a better flavor about yourself in the interview, which I think till date works well, because students do like that aspect if they're able to immediately use it, also for their interviews and things like that. And the second aspect is, we said that ethical practices in psychometric, irrespective of whether you're using MBTI or a FIRO or a workplace Big Five or any instrument in the world, understanding ethical practices early stage of your life is even better, because that kind of forms a base. Like today, when I think about our session with Anahat in MBTI, I think one of the things, it's kind of etched in our memory that these are things we are not going to compromise for anybody. You know, these are things we are not going to compromise for any organization or any system, and we will stand by it. So it was very important that whichever college we are going to do this for, since they're going to step into corporate world, they don't bend on these values, is something we should provide from our end. And that's why we again thought that, it was important for us to give a psychometric instrument or flavor to the students with the ethical practices as well, so that even when they step in, they are able to say, no, this is not used for this purpose. This cannot be tampered with by taking photocopies. These are rules I need to follow. I cannot just randomly share reports of people with others. We need permission. So they understand these things early enough. So I would say these are the two main aspects with which we started our sessions. And of course, the sessions, like how we have been a part of Anahat, we also try in that limited couple of hours that we are with the students, bring in exercises, bring in activities, so that they're able to actually understand it from a day-to-day point of view. Yeah. So I think, yeah, that's how the project started. Yeah. So one of the things is we, by choice, like to use the self-scorable, because the experience is not just understanding your type, but the experience for a student is also understanding how an instrument works, how is it scored, and then finally how the results are arrived at. So that's why we use the self-scorable here for the students. And so their experience is this entire aspect. One is going through the session, understanding the instrument, understanding psychometric as a whole. And then the final piece is understanding myself better and my teammates better. So there are a lot of fun elements when this is done, because as their students, there are already code words going on, especially when you do the E&I exercise. So there's already this whole branding going on that, we knew you were this, we knew you were that. But when we do the exercises where we pose questions to both the groups, and then the way they are facing each other, so they are able to really understand, oh, it's not the secretive element. It's just, I just prefer to be selective, So those are the subtle differences and the similarities that are the bigger insights for the students. Because many a times, what also happens is, like workplace, I would say it's a little, a college is a prototype of a workplace, So the dynamics of working in teams, working with people, working with differences, working with similarities, that is what we are trying to bring out through these sessions. And when they go through this, they are like, okay, so this is the reason, this is how you react, when I bring about something or I discuss something. When we do the, SNN or TNF and those kind of exercises, the elements of how one expresses what they want to in group projects and how one takes it, those kind of elements are actually brought out live. And we want to bring that out in the session. Though the time is limited, we want them to experience that, because if they're able to understand this microcosm better, we believe, will do a better job when they go to their workplace as well. Because we do put it out to them that your knowledge is only one part of, that's just the tick box for you to get into the corporate. But finally, how do you get things done is a lot about understanding yourself and understanding the people around you. And that is where, frankly, Salil and I believe is the biggest gift a psychometric instrument brings to the table, because while there is a measurement element in some instruments and some it's about preferences, all that, leaving all that aside, it's about somewhere understanding yourself better and understanding people around you better. And many times it may not even be able to about accepting that viewpoint. It's just being aware that there are different viewpoints and I need to know to work with them. So we do get those feedbacks in the session that, yeah, probably I could, work a little differently when I'm dealing with somebody who has a preference for this area or that area. So that kind of things do come up. Some of the students also reach out to us post the session saying that if possible, I would like a one-on-one and understand a little more about myself deeply. So we do, wherever time permits and we are able to actually do a call or something, we do that. And many of them also, like the idea that I can use some of these aspects even in describing myself and talking about myself and things like that. So those are insights they do like. And few of them also talk about, want to know more about how can they get certified and things like that. So we generally also put one more thing to them, that whether your organization invests in you or not, it's your responsibility to invest in yourself. So when you start your first job and you're starting your first set of earnings, there are savings that you're keeping aside for your future. Similarly, there are investments in your learning journey also that you need to keep aside. So it's not the environment that should really decide that, it should be you. And these are areas for an HR student you can actually look at and invest in yourself as and when you're ready to do that. There a couple of students, especially when we did the E&I exercise, especially the ones who were a part of the I group, they came to us and said that probably this was one occasion where, there was a pause and we could actually bring out ourselves, because sometimes we get so outnumbered in the class. And sometimes we also are more into self-doubt as to whether, because we are doing an MBA, this is how we have to be. We have to be more extroverted in that sense. So their literal understanding of what is extroverted. And then when we brought in the element in the psychometric of preference for extroversion versus preference for introversion, and how it is not that, if you have preference of one and you cannot do a job better. So they bring out their myths of, if I was in marketing, or if, say, I was in a marketing kind of profile, how I could still do well if I understand both sides and the needs. So I think those are the subtle good things. I think a breakthrough for a student.
Right.
And
Completely.
finally, we need to see them go confident when they are going into the workplace. That's the first objective. Yeah. One thing, I mean, I feel also very happy and proud that being an alumni of the college, probably Dr. Salunke, even before we had proper HR courses, was always very particular to bring in the best practices from the industry. So a flavor of process labs was given to us while in college. And so that way, that exposure helped, and they've continued on that journey in bringing the students, giving the students that exposure. Because I'm also seeing the one difference that I see now when I look at the HR cohort is you have far more students from technical streams in HR, that is engineering and MBA HR. Of course, no labeling, no good or bad about any of these things, but it's also like a gear shift, because of the 4 years, the way you have learned engineering, and now you're going to also work with people processes. Even if you go, say, into comp and benefit structure, or, typical consulting, you still need that element of how do I get people along? How do I understand? So that shift, so when you have 50% of the class, which is also having students of that nature, I think these kind of psychometric instruments and all open up their own, and they're also excited because there's an analytical aspect to it as well, you know. So they want to know more about, okay, how do I understand the mean of this, and where the reliability scores are, so they want to understand a little more about that. So yeah. So overall, it works well when we are looking at it.